You know, there are some very stupid people in the world. Take, for example, some users of fanfiction.net. Now, I'm a regular visitor of fanfiction.net. Anyone who is familiar with this site knows that there are some very emotional people on this site. I know of one such user. This person has taken to slandering an author and presenting evidence against this author. Now, ordinarily, I want to comment on this, but the logic in this journal entry is so laughably bad that I just had to comment on it. Let's go through each one of their points and deconstruct them, shall we? Fictional author, huh? That's funny because I googled the title of this book, and what did you know? The very first link takes you to the book's Amazon page. Wow. The only review this book has is one, and the review itself isn't even a review of the book itself. It's just saying that the book's plagiarized. It's more than likely that this reviewer didn't even read the damn book, especially one of those reviews that, instead of reviewing the actual product, the reviewer simply bitches about it. Now, this person has a history of lying for his own personal entertainment, I suppose. You suppose? So, in other words, you're blatantly spreading lies about someone who you don't know? To go around spreading lies about someone who you don't know anything about speaks volumes about your character. Myself and many others speculate this person has many fanfiction accounts. The author admits right here that this is nothing more than speculation. You only think this person has multiple accounts. You don't know for sure. Unless this person has contradicted himself in some way, or is making it obvious that this is them who's on these accounts, there is no reason whatsoever to suspect this person of foul play. The one this is posted on is called Tony Gray Fox, but this person is also Smitty91, which is his main account. Marsha Kerr, who he pretends is his middle school teacher who has been harassing him his whole life, and an anonymous account called Shadow Riders. He most likely has others. The reason we know this is because sometimes he forgets to log into the right account when reviewing his own stories and either complimenting them or bashing them. He also uses the same OCs on two of the accounts. Wait. Let's read through this again and tackle each subject one at a time. The one this is posted on is called Tony Gray Fox, but this person is also Smitty91, which is his main account. Marsha Kerr, who he pretends is his middle school teacher who has been harassing him his whole life, and an anonymous account called Shadow Riders. And what evidence do you have of this? Most people I know only have one account per website, and if they have more than one, who gives a shit? As long as they're not causing problems and whatnot, who the fuck cares if they have more than one account? And some teachers are dicks who won't leave you alone even after you stop being educated by them. The reason we know this is because sometimes he forgets to log into the right account when reviewing his own stories and either complimenting them or bashing them. He also uses the same OCs on two of the accounts. Honestly, why the fuck hell would anyone create a separate account just to bash their own writing, unless they were very insecure? In other words, they weren't very sure of themselves and had very low self-esteem. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Given that they told Marsha Kerr off, I'm assuming that Daily Nova accused the author of being that person as well. While I couldn't find any stories on Smitty91's account regarding the original characters, I did manage to find Tony Gray Fox on Fur Affinity. Not only that, but I was also able to find an article about him on the Furry Wikia. Looking at this, it says that this person was born in 1970 and currently lives in Vancouver, British Columbia. I looked all over this person's gallery page, and honestly, I had no clue what OC's Daily Nova was talking about. Most of this guy's galleries composed mainly of pictures. There were some stories on his profile, but most of them were group projects. I'm not really familiar with this guy's work, so I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be looking for here. I eventually had to ask Daily Nova what she was talking about, and she told me that she was referring to two characters by the name of Eric and Colin. After a Google search, I finally came across the stories that Daily Never was talking about. It seems that Smitty91 and Tony Greyfox have the same characters. I left Smitty91 a PM on his fanfiction.net account and asked him to send me a few of his original stories. After reading through both authors' stories, really the only similarities I can see between the two is that both of their characters have the same names and are the same species. The major difference between Tony Greyfox and Smitty91 is that Smitty91 seems to have fleshed out their characters a lot more. Not only that, but in Tony Greyfox's stories, Eric and Cullen are referred to as furries, and in Smitty91's stories, it's implied that they are just regular animals. Also worthy of note is the fact that Smitty91's characterizations of Eric and Cullen are vastly different from Tony Greyfox's. In Tony Greyfox's stories, Eric and Cullen seem to get along extremely well. At one point, it's noted that Eric used to play football for his high school. In Smitty91's stories, Eric comes off as extremely shy and quiet, whereas Colin is the more outgoing one, more of a social butterfly than Eric. Therefore, based on my observations, I can safely conclude that Smitty91 and Tony Greyfox are not the same person. This is a review on one of his stories on his Smitty91 account, which was supposedly the first time his teacher reviewed his stories. I admit that this is fishy, but there are a number of possibilities here. Notice that only the date in which the review was given. The time isn't listed. Also, there doesn't seem to be any order as to when these reviews were posted. It's very possible that this author was half asleep when he published his review. Or he simply could have copied and pasted Kerr's review without thinking about it. Stating that this author is more than likely pretending to be this author known as Marsha Kerr is extremely stupid, especially when you present this as your main evidence. Again, there are a number of possibilities that we need to consider before we jump to conclusions. It's very possible that this author wasn't aware of the fact that you could post reviews on your own stories. Maybe he did it as a joke. The point is, who the fuck cares? Also, why the hell was it ever implied that this woman was supposed to be a teacher? I looked at her profile and, like Tony Greyfox's, it's completely blank. There is nothing on her profile page that even implies that this user was ever a teacher. Where the hell are you getting this information from? Here's an example where he accidentally makes Tony Greyfox talk to himself on one of his Smitty91 stories. Really? This is it? This is all the evidence you're going to present against this guy? Really? What the fuck hell is this supposed to prove? It doesn't prove shit. All it proves is that you're grasping at straws, throwing darts at a dartboard hoping that one will land in the center. It's very possible that the shadow writers that the author Tony Greyfox is referring to posted his review anonymously, and those reviews were deleted by the author of the story. If this is all the evidence you're going to go on, then I must say that it's quite not a whole lot to present your case. Let's see if we can see where the author is coming from. Okay, first of all, Kerr and Greyfox don't even seem to be on the same page. Kerr is talking about what a plagiarist Smitty91 is, while Greyfox is talking about Smitty91 stealing his characters. Now, Tony Greyfox does agree with Marsha Kerr and her accusations, but so what? How exactly is this supposed to prove that this guy is these people? Well, frankly, it doesn't. I find it very hard to believe that this guy is pushing these three people, considering the fact that they don't have the same speech patterns, and neither one of them even seem to be on the same page. The major problem with this accusation is that the evidence presented here doesn't hold any weight. The author seems to be only singling out one possibility instead of considering more than one. Again, like I said, who cares if this guy has multiple accounts? If he's not hurting anybody or contradicting himself, and is abiding with the rules and regulations of the website, then I see no cause for alarm here. And to go as far as to publicly slander this person just for having multiple accounts on the website is extremely low. I honestly had to question whether or not this person has anything better to do with their lives than to slander another person. This person must live a very sad, pathetic life to spread this bullshit about this author. I've looked through this author's profile, and it seems that they have deleted most, if not all, of their stories on their profile, just to get this person to shut up. If the author of this journal entry is watching this, I have some words for you. Go fuck yourself and get a fucking life. The fact that you would even accuse this person of posting as 3 or 4 different people speaks volumes about your character. You must have nothing better to do with your life. Here's an idea. Get off the internet and get a fucking life. The only reason I'm even commenting on this whole show at all is because it's so ridiculous. Seriously, if you're going to go as far as to slandering someone just because they might be different people, then you need to change your character. No one I know of would do this. Most people I know would just shrug it off, forget about it, and move on with their lives. In other words, this person who you claim is being different people isn't going to affect you in any way, shape, or form. So why the fuck hell are you making such a big deal about it? Like I said, who gives a shit that this person is posting as 3 different people? It's their life, they can do what the fuck they want with it. It's not affecting you or your life whatsoever, so get the fuck over it. This author is exactly the type of person that I cannot stand. The type of person who has nothing better to do with their lives, so they spread a bunch of bullshit about someone else for their own amusement, not taking into account the fact that they're slandering and lying about someone and thus ruining that person's life. If you look in this author's DeviantArt page, you will see a link to her fanfiction page. Let's take a look, shall we? Uh-huh. Just as I thought. Look at this one line here. I am absolutely obsessed with Alvin and the Chipmunks. The cartoon, not those ugly CGI rats. I think these CGI chipmunks are ugly rats, and I'll have nothing to do with them. My stories are all cartoon verse. I hate CGI. I also utterly despise mixed couples, FCs, or OCs as you might know them, AU, recolors, repitches, out of character stories, and morons. Do not come near me if you are or support any of these things. I will be a complete bitch to you and I will give you a hard time. So, not only does this author hate change, but you can't even have a differing opinion than her. Wow. Just wow. So much for setting aside differences. No! In order to be a friend of this chick, you have to agree with everything she says. Not only that, but if you disagree with her, she'll shoot your ass out over it and be a complete bitch to you. She said that herself. I am glad I do not know this person in real life. I doubt that this person has any friends in real life. I can only imagine what a conversation with this chick would be like. Hey, I got a movie for movie night. Cool, what is it? I hope it has something to do with the chipmunks. I rented The Dark Knight. Why don't we watch the Chipmunk Adventure instead? But that movie is for kids, and this is geared more towards people our age. I want to watch the Chipmunks. But The Dark Knight is, I want to watch the Chipmunks, and if you say any otherwise, I'll kick your ass. Okay, fine, we'll watch the Chipmunk Adventure. Now look, I'll be the first to admit that I'm not a big fan of the Chipmunk films. They're more like a guilty pleasure to me than anything. Hell, the only reason I went to go see the first one was because my little sister wanted to see it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. And having to sit through it just to see my little sister enjoying herself made it worth it. Of course, when the sequels came out, me and my family went to go see them as well, and they were enjoyable too. They certainly aren't the worst films I've ever seen. Personally Christ. Also, look at this line here. My entire life revolves around these little cuties. You know what? You have got some nerve, I'll give you that. For you to bash someone for supposedly posting as 3 different people, but then for you to say on your own profile that your entire life revolves around a cartoon, that's just sad and pathetic. Seriously, what do you do all day? Watch a cartoon on YouTube and talk about it with your friends? I'm a brony, but I'm not obsessed with the show or the characters. I'm a casual fan. I simply enjoy the show. I look forward to new episodes and I talk to other bronies about their show and the characters from time to time. My entire life is not revolved around that. I have far more important things to do with my time than thinking about ponies and their adventures. I have school to worry about, a career that I'm trying to build up, and so on and so forth. Life is too short to let it revolve around something as idiotic as a cartoon. That's totally fine if you're into stupid shit like that, but don't let it rule your life. I mean, for fuck's sake. Seriously, how bored of your life must you be to accuse someone of being 3 or 4 different people? The author's attempts at trying to prove anything against this person is not just pathetic, but it's laughably bad. It's hysterical, really. In all honesty, this person wouldn't last a day in court. The defendant would be able to defend themselves quite easily, and the trial would be over and done with within a day. That's how bad this author's logic is. If you're going to accuse someone of something as insignificant as this, make sure you have a good amount of evidence and a strong logical basis for your argument. I've already completely deconstructed this author's entire argument. Like I said, this author is simply considering one possibility. It's been scientifically shown that lack of sleep affects your memory. Not only that, but sleep deprivation also affects your concentration skills as well. For all we know, the author that Daily Nova is attacking could have been suffering from insomnia and wasn't concentrating when he posted that review. We don't know, and Daily Nova sure as hell doesn't know. Daily Nova is merely speculating, and that's it. So, just for fun, I took a look at the comments below this journal entry, and oh my god! Fuck me! Fuck me! This is just... fuck! God damn it, Daily Nova! Seriously, what the fuck hell is wrong with you? I mean, for fuck's sake! Now you're going to turn around and accuse this person of being Smitty91 too? What the hell? As if Daily Nova wasn't bad enough, some chicks named Sourceless Raven and Brad Tate decided to open their mouths. Let's take a look at what they had to say. You know, most authors that are inspired by Shakespeare's plays or Bible stories do in fact use those references only, meaning they don't take the entire story and change the characters. There is still some originality in their version of each story. I'm sorry, but bullshit. Let's deconstruct this person's bullshit claim with one such example. Let's take a look at Titanic. It's pretty much Romeo and Juliet on board the Titanic. Now, admittedly, I haven't read Romeo and Juliet since high school, but the basic storyline goes like this. A young woman falls in love with a young man, but is being forced to marry a man that she doesn't love. For their own sakes, the two lovers struggle to keep their love a secret from their adversaries. The story ends with both lovers dying. The plotline for Romeo and Juliet was used in Titanic. The only thing changed here was the setting and the characters. Other than that, the plotline is exactly the same. I spoke with Smitty91 regarding this entire issue, and he told me that he was planning on writing a story called Better Off Alone. Many of the plot elements coming from the Bible. See? That's how you take elements of a story and rearrange them in a way to where they're referencing the source of your inspiration. Not simply borrowing the entire plot and characters like these people are accusing the author of Finders Island of doing. Unless you plan on sharing your profit with me, then I would forgive and forget. Why the fuck hell would the author share their profit with you? Unless you actually contributed to the work, then I see no reason whatsoever why the author would make a deal with you to give you a share of their profits. You don't know anything about this author. They could be anyone behind a computer screen with access to the internet. I'll talk about this more in a separate video. Coming on here and acting all defensive shows how petty and ignorant you really are. Resorting to name calling like that only shows how childish you really are. Honestly, if you can't have a civilized conversation with someone without resorting to insults, then you have no right to associate with others until you learn to actually show respect to others, regardless of anything. Shut up, Smitty. Get a life. The only one who needs a life is you. You're the one who keeps trying to talk to her on different accounts and pretending to be different people. You're the one who's obsessing with what someone who you don't know is doing over the internet, and you're telling this guy to get a life? Fucking hypocrite! Once again, where the fuck is your goddamn evidence? You're simply putting shit out of your own ass, not bothering to provide any evidence whatsoever. Maybe if you would provide some evidence for your claims, then I would be more inclined to believe you. As the saying goes, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Sadly, you have provided none at all. You keep repeating yourself, recycling the same old tired bullshit, expecting me to believe you. I'm sorry, but until I see some sufficient evidence against this person, I'm not going to believe you about anything. I looked at this user's profile and there's nothing, I repeat, nothing, to present the argument that this guy is Smitty91 as well. Hell, this user doesn't even have any deviations on their page. Also, what do you mean they have their name and the state they live in on their page? Look at the page for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing there that states this person's name or where they live. And even then, so what? Smitty is a common nickname. Here's the definition of the name Smitty. So as we can clearly see, Smitty is a nickname given to anyone who has a last name Smith. Just for the hell of it, I typed in Smitty on fanfiction.net's search engine and I got at least 19 results, and Smitty91 wasn't among them. So either this chick is making up bullshit just so she has something to do, or this Smitty91 isn't an active member. But just to make sure, I typed in Smitty91's name in Bing and his profile page for fanfiction.net came up. Why it wasn't listed is beyond me. But anyway, take a good look at this user's profile page. It's completely blank. How the hell would Delanova know what this user's name is? She wouldn't. Smitty91 could have told her their name at some point, but we don't know that. We're expected to go with it, but solely on Delanova's word without question and not argue it. I'm completely baffled beyond belief right now. Did Delanova just concoct this whole thing? Or did this Smitty91 character deliberately delete obvious information so that no one could trace anything back to him? I'm willing to believe the former. I highly doubt that this Smitty91 person, or anyone for that matter, will care at all what anyone thinks of them, especially someone like this. Take a good look at this chick's profile page once again. Okay, she's 19 years old and she is obsessed with the chipmunks. So, I guess going to college, finding work, making money, and supporting yourself aren't important, huh? Seriously, when I was 19 years old, I didn't give a flying fuck about what anyone was doing on some website. I was more concerned about getting into college and maintaining a good grade point average so that my financial aid would be covered. Now, I want to take a moment to comment on a message left by DeviantArt user LuckyFanPup101. He said, "You people might as well be Delanova's fucking disciples, seeing as though you're willing to believe anything she says, and anyone who says otherwise you accuse of being the Smitty91 character." You know what? He's absolutely correct. As I said earlier, we don't know a damn thing about this user or this Smitty91 person. It could be anyone behind the computer screen with access to the internet. We shouldn't rule out one person just because someone is taking issue with this. I guarantee you that there are some people watching this video right now who are probably thinking that I'm Smitty91. What makes it sad is the fact that no one is going to believe you if your word goes against Delanova's. These morons, instead of thinking for themselves, are willing to believe her no matter what she says, and there is no convincing anyone of anything otherwise. God, how empty must you be to just go along with whatever anyone says instead of looking at the evidence provided and thinking for yourselves? This is no different than believing whatever your religion says and going against anyone who says otherwise. And yet, despite all this bullshit, it hasn't stopped Smitty91 from doing what he enjoys. I want to comment on a statement I made earlier in this video. I said that Smitty91 had taken down all his stories in order to get Delanova to shut up. I have been corrected regarding this mistake. It seems that Smitty91's account was temporarily suspended and all of his stories were taken down as a result. It seems that Tony Greyfox was also victim to this as well, as he has alerted me via an email. It would appear that Miss Hal Gibson's grievances reached the moderator's ears, and they, for whatever reason, despite having no evidence against these two, decided to suspend two people for doing practically nothing wrong at all. God, fuck this! Fuck this bullshit! But there is a bright side to all of this. Not too long after she posted this journal entry, Delanova posted yet another one, this one being about a fanfiction.net author accusing her of being, surprise surprise, Delanova on a pornographic website. What disgusts me about this journal entry is that Daily Nova admits to going on pornographic websites like Ink Bunny and For Affinity, and she admits to going on Rule 34 on a daily basis. The pornographic website in question is called E621. I've never been there, and I don't plan on going there anytime soon. I'm really not into porn. But I hope that Daily Nova now knows how it feels to be slandered and lied about and have the person being believed instead of the accused. So, in conclusion, folks, this is nothing more than someone trying to bring someone else down via lies, speculation, and excuses. None of the evidence presented in this case was enough to convict the accuser of anything. Basically, it's best if you just ignore shit like this. This is simply the accuser wanting to get some attention and sympathy, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.
Can't you see what we're doing to each other? How rumors divide classmates, friends, families, even enemies. Don't you know that by merely listening to a rumor, we're giving it life, allowing it to breathe, to grow, to engulf us all, to devour our integrity? Stop spreading those rumors around. Stop spreading the lies. Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. We just need some time to get away from all these rumors. I can't take it no more. My best friend says there's one out now about me and the boy next door. Stop spreading those rumors around. Stop spreading the lies. Come on, everybody. Let's stop spreading the rumors.